Save up to 800 ringgit and enjoy clean air with your family at home by getting a Kowe air purifier Lombok 2.
Good evening, welcome to Bizworld. The first story of the day. The government is in the process of drafting a temporary measures bill to mitigate the social and economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. International Trade and Industry Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Azmin Ali said an online consultation platform is also being managed by the Malaysia Productivity Corporation MPC.
As there is a silver lining in every cloud, we should turn crisis into opportunity by seizing the emerging trends to mitigate the pandemic and find enablers for quality investment and fast-track our digitalization agenda across the board.
He said this at the launch of the National Productivity Report 2020. Malaysia's labour force increased 2% to nearly 15.6 million persons in 2019, with unemployment remained steady at 3.3%. However, in the first quarter of this year, unemployment rose to 3.5%, reflecting the severity of the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, the country's labour productivity performance grew at a moderated pace at 2.2% last year. Next, Malaysia recorded a labour productivity growth of 2.1% to 93,973 ringgit in 2019, contributing to the country's GDP growth of 4.3% in 2019. According to Malaysia Productivity Corp MPC, the five main sectors generally improved labour productivity, with the construction sector's labour productivity by value per employment growing 3.3% to 45,293 ringgit. Followed by the services sector and the manufacturing sector. Agriculture's labour productivity by value added per employment posted growth of 0.4%, while the mining and quarrying sector recorded a slight decline at 1.6%, 1.6% to 1.34 million ringgit. In the first quarter of 2020, Malaysia posted GDP growth of 0.7%, and a further decline can be expected in the second quarter due to the unintended economic consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic. MPC said Malaysia's labour force increased by 2.0% to 15.6 million persons last year, while unemployment remained steady at 3.3%. The unemployment rate increased to 3.5% in the first quarter of 2020, reflecting the impact of COVID-19 pandemic and the MCO. The Malaysian Trade Union Congress MTUC has called on the Malaysian Employers Federation MEF to prove its claim that paying workers 2,700 ringgit monthly would cause businesses to collapse. In a statement, MTUC Secretary General J. Solomon said the proposal was based on Bank Negara Malaysia's 2017 annual report, which stated many low-wage employees across the country were having difficulties to attain a minimum acceptable living standard. MTUC called for Malaysian workers to be paid living wages to help the government achieve its policy of having Malaysians take over jobs traditionally held by foreign workers. These include positions in the construction, manufacturing and services industries in urban areas. He said employers and the MEF in general have been adamant in denying workers fair wages and salary increments over the years to protect their excessive profits. The COVID-19 pandemic has become the perfect excuse for employers to retrench workers, cut their salaries arbitrarily, or force them to take unpaid leave. CIMB Group Holdings Berhad will engage with borrowers from the hardest hit sectors to extend support and restructure terms where necessary. As the moratorium period is ending, the focus for CIMB, as with other financial institutions, will move towards a more targeted assistance approach. Group CEO Dato Abdul Rahman Ahmad said the 6-month automatic moratorium in Malaysia has provided significant relief to CIMB's customers, particularly within the B40 household income segment and small and medium enterprises. As of end May, the moratorium has benefited over 1.3 million retail customers and over 16,000 SMEs and corporate clients in terms of cash flow alleviation to help them face the challenging environment. In addition, CIMB has approved over 1 billion ringgit of relief funds to SMEs, of which 700 million ringgit is under the Bank Negara Malaysia Special Relief Fund. Yesterday, MBank said it is willing to extend the loan moratorium period, but only to targeted groups. And that story wraps up Bizworld. I'm Arif Subhan. Thank you for watching and keep tuning in to TV3.